Alright guys, TacticalRab here again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Big Rostermania confirmation arriving this evening with the New York Subliners officially dropping Priestahh from their starting roster. It's been a big debate over the last few days. Will they do this? Will they decide not to after all and run it back with the team that just won the World Championship around about 1 month ago? But no, they're going to drop Priestahh from the team. Where does he go next? Very interesting to see some of the reaction here from many of the New York Subliners players and coaches and staff over there, and at the tweets that Priestahh's actually liked as a result seem to paint a slightly different picture. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Wanted to start with this quickly because lots of talking points over the last couple of months really regarding a new operator in the game. Many were saying, look, get the Scump Operator in, but the issue was that all the drama happened with the Nick Mercs Tim the Tapman thing. He did a tweet, they cancelled him from the game and they got rid of his operator, and Tim the Tapman stood by Nick Mercs. His operator was gone as well. And I'm just bringing this up again because there was a story that Swag actually just mentioned in a YouTube video that 3 months ago, probably around the same time where they were preparing the things with Nick Mercs and Tim the Tapman, they reached out to him to potentially have a similar thing in the game, a bundle, blueprint design, but that was cancelled as a result of what's happened with the Tim and Nick Mercs bundles. So this was the question, right, when the Nick Mercs and Tim the Tapman thing happened, it was like, alright, are we going to see none of this happen ever again because they're too scared of the potential brand risk or whatever? Or would they say, you know what, let's go for different creators that aren't going to be as controversial? Scump doesn't really get into any controversies like this, so, you know, it's interesting, right? But just the idea that they reached out to Swag, Tim the Tapman, Nick Mercs at the time to get this done, and, you know, not Scump or Nature or anything like this, I kind of get the perspective because Scump's fans are pretty much COD fans anyway, so I guess they're thinking, well, there's no, like, cross-pollination there, so we won't bother, but, you know, I feel like showing some respect to the OGs that actually made this game and community what it is would be a nice way to go, but apparently that's not going to happen anymore. Speaking of Scump, there was also this from Ludwig, who tweeted at Scump saying, hey, shoot me a DM. Now, I don't know if this is at all related to the OpTic, like, throwback tourney they're doing, because there's a Super Smash Bros. Melee tourney that's going on, and Ludwig often gets involved in stuff like that. So I don't know if that's related, but if that was the case, I don't know why he'd be reaching out to Scump. So might be something else, but kind of interesting one to keep your eyes on here. There was also this that went around that apparently, now I don't exactly know where this is coming from or whether the source here is any good, but Modern Warfare 2 Informer says that actually Microsoft came in and fixed the old servers. Sources close to Activision confirm. So this must, if this is true, this means that like there is a lot more integration there already between Microsoft and Activision than we might have expected, given the fact that the deal isn't technically done yet for the acquisition, especially in the UK where it's still on hold by the CMA. But apparently Microsoft came in and actually fixed those servers. So pretty interesting. We've seen some screenshots going around of how many players are actually on these old games. It is definitely active. Hackers still exist. The numbers might not be quite as high as I've seen some screenshots suggesting, but nonetheless very cool that this is actually possible, and Microsoft's pushing ahead on this one with Activision. Clearly, you know, Activision don't seem to respect their old games quite as much as Microsoft maybe will, so that could be a positive sign. But let's talk about this Subliners drama, because this was confirmed over the last couple of hours. From the underdog to the top dog, we want to thank Priestahh for the achievements, accomplishments, and the culture you brought under our banner, and Subliners officially release Priestahh from the team. This is such a crazy thing. It's never happened in COD history where a team has broken up after winning the World Championship for a reason that wasn't forced. It happened in 2019 going into 2020 because franchising happened. United could not get a spot in franchising. They didn't have the money and all this, so they were effectively forced to depart. There was no way that anyone was going to be able to pick up those 5 guys because there was like a salary cap at the time. Simp and aBeZy went their own ways. Clayster went his own way. RC's Priestahh also went their own ways, right, and then rejoined on Huntsman later in the year, but Priestahh went off to Florida. RC's went to the Huntsman. Clay went to Dallas. Simp and aBeZy went to FaZe, and then 1 year later, Dallas Empire, again with Clay after winning Jams, broke apart because it went back to 4v4. So that was forced on those 2 occasions. But this is the first time ever where a team has actually made the call to break apart. And it's a decision that has been made by somebody. They could have stuck together. No one was going to go in and like poach Priestahh away, but they couldn't come to an agreement on the money side of things, and that's led Priestahh to either straight up deny whatever Subliners were offering, or the team just didn't really want to keep him around, which is where a lot of thoughts are leading on this one. I will also mention that it's kind of interesting to say the least that the very first screenshot they bring up here, this is a great clip by the way from Major 1 at the start of the year, but they bring up this screenshot of people on Twitter criticizing the move, and the first one they say is Priestahh's going to bring this team down, and plenty of other ones that are saying, oh, you know, this team's going to be bad. And sure, Priestahh was better than I think people expected. The team was way better than expected, and that was a nasty snap that I'm sure many of you guys remember. And Priestahh was pretty damn good this whole year, had like a 1.02 overall KD, but it's a little bit strange, it's got to be said, to see that, you know, they put that tweet in there from fans criticizing the move, and then, you know, they actually have now dropped Priestahh from the team. So it's like they're giving him all the credit for what he's done, and justifiably so, but still they're going to drop him, right? Like if he was this good, you'd keep him around, would you not? So this is where the debate really is around on this, and I'm sure many people are preying on their downfall next year, and we'll get into that in a second. So the latest that JKL comes out with on this was a few days ago now, where he said that his sources say this is a done deal, Priestahh's negotiations have fallen through, and Simp has been signed. Now whether Priestahh was like, you know, I'm not taking that money, give me more money or I'm out of here type thing, or whether they just thought, you know what, Simp's the better player, let's get him in, free agent from the Seattle Surge. Teams around New York have been upgrading. I think there's no doubt that Ultra have got better. I think OpTic and FaZe have probably both got at least marginally better as well. Would Subliners' roster of last year be good enough to actually win way more championships again? I don't know. That's a bit of a question for you guys in the comments below, but there was some debate over the last few days. Would this happen? Would they follow through with this? Because Zuma's sources were telling him that this was not yet guaranteed, and there were some reasons to believe that they actually might run it back after all. Then Jacob L came out and said, no, it's going ahead, and Ronnie said, no, it's going ahead, and clearly it is going ahead because that's the announcement we have. But at the time, the general theory about this has been that Kismet was a UFA, right? His contract was at an end. They needed to re-sign him. Absolutely, he was a crucial reason why they won this year and why they won the World Championship. And if there was a fourth biggest reason why they won, it was probably Priestahh, I would say, but he was still a very important reason why they won. The SMG duo, they had to keep that together, and Kismet's salary, I don't imagine was anything spectacular when he joined back in Vanguard, because, you know, he wasn't really expected to be a great player, which he's turned into over the last couple of years, and they extended that contract for one more year, and now he was at an end of his deal, so they probably had to re-sign him for more money, and not wanting to pay more money to Priestahh, they effectively said, like, look, we've got to cut costs here. As he says, JKL in the article, Subliners tried to negotiate a lower salary with Priestahh, which is a bit of a dagger when you've just won champs, especially if your teammates are getting paid the same, if not more, something most teams are doing, but the two parties struggled to find a compromise. So part of this was Priestahh not being happy and feeling screwed over by whatever he's getting offered, which I think is probably justified depending on the amount of money we're talking about. But the other side is like, well, couldn't the team have found a way through this if they really wanted to? We've heard about this recently from the likes of Zuma, saying that FaZe have taken pay cuts in the past to stay together. Thieves took pay cuts last year to stay together after champs, because after last year's champs, Thieves were cutting budgets somewhat. They're doing that even more this year, but last year they did that to some degree, and the team wanted to stay together under the same brands. They took a pay cut to achieve that. If the team really wanted to, they probably could have found a way to say, like, if HyDra said, for example, their star player, like, look, we're going to keep Priestahh around, I really like him, what he's brought to the team, and the rest of the guys agrees, surely they'd have found a way to make this work. Whether that's more money, whether that's those guys take some pay cuts to allow Priestahh to get more bags, I don't really know. But we get all of these basically PR statements coming out of the players and the coaches. Drazah says, absolute privilege to have been building, growing and working with Preston over the last year. Best of luck for the new path. We get this from Skyz. Wish Preston nothing but the best. I have so many memories, moments with him that I'll never forget. Glad to have had the time to play and grow with you. Love you, bro, at Priestahh. So, nice message, right? And then from Sender as well, Preston proved to everyone he deserves to be at this level. He's an absolute pleasure to work with. Not many can match his work ethic and sheer will to want to be the best. Excited to see what the future looks like, but it's not going to be at the New York Subliners. We also get this reply from Kismet. Wish you nothing but the best. We'll always cherish the moments we had together and the goals we accomplished. Until next time. So, you know, these are all very similar statements, right? It's not like they've been written by a robot, but they're not too dissimilar to what ChatGPT would have come up with if you'd have asked it to come up with some sort of statement when a teammate's to parting ways and you want to give them a nice send-off message. So Priestahh comes out with his own. The best season I've had in my career. Let's not forget, 3 event wins, Major 1, Major 5, and the World Championship. Like, incredible stuff. Very rare nowadays in the CDL to see that level of success. I've been released. Hard pill to swallow. Absolutely, but I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back. Might make a short video of this process so people can have a little bit more of an understanding of what happens. I'll be there for that if that actually comes live. Appreciate anyone supporting. Best of luck to everyone part of New York. So, nice statement here from Priestahh. A little bit different in tone to the other ones that we have just seen. And especially so when we have a look at, let me just refresh this to make sure we've got the most up-to-date version as of recording. These are what he's liked on Twitter. The only tweet that he liked of those that are released tweets effectively was this one from Tucker, who's a producer over there, and he says, amazing colleague, world champion, like, you know, it was heartwarming to see you prove the entire community wrong. I'm disappointed to see you go, but you'll achieve huge success and all this. So a different, again, a little bit of a different tone there to the other ones that we saw from his teammates and the coaches, at least as far as I'm concerned, and that's the only tweet that he liked. He could very much have liked the Skyz one and the other ones, but like he's decided not to, it seems, because he would have seen those tweets. If he's seen this tweet, then he's seen the tweet from Kismet and from Skyz and from his other teammates. I don't think HyDra's said anything yet, and Puckett says, please help me understand. He hits the like on that one, and Raw the Monster from 100 Thieves is like, you deserve better, good luck. He hits the like on that as well. So this I thought was a particularly good tweet here from Methods. If you guys have seen Goodfellas, you'll know what this scene is referring to, but you know, here Priestahh goes, like, he's not having a good time, is he? Let's be honest. And it's been a remarkable turn of events over the last couple of weeks. Many have said this is messed up. On some level, it's a bit messed up. I don't know if his teammates have snaked him or exactly what's happened here, but just looking at some of the reaction, like, this whole situation feels a bit strange, you know what I mean? It's just a bit of a weird one, and Priestahh is now dropped from the roster. In some respect, it's like they didn't want to be straight up with him in some sense, right? Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like we're getting the full picture behind this, and I'd love to know more from Priestah's point of view as to exactly why this has been the case. Maybe it is as simple as they thought they could upgrade and they wanted to execute on that upgrade, and if that's true, fair enough, but I'm not sure that was necessarily communicated to Priestahh, and it's not the impression that they're necessarily giving to the public either. So it's a strange one, and many, I'm sure, will be preying on the downfall of this roster next season and want them to, you know, crash and burn as a result. Maybe they won't. Sib could well be, theoretically, in terms of firepower, an upgrade on Priestahh. Is he going to be as good of a teammate? That's a question. I think it can work really well, personally, with the coaching staff they have over there. I think they can make Sib into a real force, and maybe that's the reason why they want to make this change. They could take a step forward in terms of firepower for next year, but they will have to play a pretty fired up Priestahh. Let's not forget, he's probably going to join somewhere with Slasher. That might be Boston, and if it is Boston, it's going to be for significantly more money, I think, than they'd have paid him on Subliners. So it might work out well for both parties. But when you win champs and get dropped, there's always got to be more to it than initially meets the eye. And Kismet even tweets out about this, or not tweets, but this was in Method's chat, and he says, people just don't understand every angle, is all I'll say about those statements. I love Preston, we all do. So, I mean, yeah, look, we don't have all the angles, but Kismet's not giving out any angles himself, is he? So we can only speculate on the situation here. But that's it for the time being. Who do you think wins or loses Rostermania? We're one step closer to seeing an announcement here, probably with Sib joining the Subliners over the coming days. And where's Priestahh going to go next? Are the Subliners going to pay for dropping him in the way that they've done? Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.